So I'm down here on the boat. It's a nipply evening, chilly, but not wet. Usually when it's wet here and raining, it's warmer. So it's clear, really starry night. But thought I'd come down and just hang out on the boat. So I'm smoking a little peat, little military mount. This is, what is it? K&P Peterson. Sportsman 69. Not quite sure what that means. It's a sportsman shape, I think. And it's a military mount, so you can just take the bit off really easily. Put it in your pocket. It's a small pipe, but really nice wood. Just no fills whatsoever. It's great. So I was at a fire commissioner meeting tonight. I go to those. And gave a little report on my fellow fire department volunteer who's 84 now. Hasn't volunteered for a couple years. Just a little update because he's in hospice. And you know, you can just tell what a buzzkill it is to talk about, you know, somebody who's in their process of dying. That always kind of surprises me a little bit, I guess. But, you know, he's 84. I saw him yesterday. His daughter was there. I love her. She's great. His blood pressure is like 122 over 80, pulse 72, respiration's completely normal. I mean, he's just in great shape, you know, for being in his mid-80s. Of course, except he has cancer, and it's bone cancer metastasized into his bones. So, the Emperor of All Maladies. Remember that book? I mean, he'd live another 10 years anyway, probably more than that. You know, he's just in really good health other than the cancer. So he'll be, you know, he's definitely declining. Every time you see him, he's thinner and stuff. But boy, he's right there. You know, you don't know what his drug regime is. That probably has more effect than anything else on his mentation. So he is calmer with more drugs. So that's probably good. Because the last time I was there, he was almost a little mean to his daughter and his granddaughter. I was kind of dismayed by that. So, but, you know, he's just going through his process. And I have an interest in all that. And so that allows me to sidestep my discomfort with it. Because, gosh, I'm just curious about, you know, what he's going through and what he's experiencing and, you know, how he's doing through all this. So that really keeps me focused on him. And, you know, it's not like he cares what we're really doing as volunteers. One of the medics in the firehouse, she kind of runs the honor guard. And so she said, well, you know, let's have an honor guard, see if his daughter would like that. And she thought that was a great idea. So then the medic came back tonight with a text saying, why don't we escort him up to the little cemetery where he's been like on the cemetery board in this tiny little town along the coast for years and years, you know, and I assume he'll be buried there, but I don't know. If he is, she said, why don't we escort him up with a water tender? Because that's the service that respond from home volunteers provide for the fire service here, in addition to a few other things. But that's our primary role. I mean, the fire guys don't want it. It's kind of out of sync with what they're doing. They don't want to have to worry about it. It takes staffing to provide that service. So it's actually a totally ideal volunteer from home fire department volunteering role. It is just perfect because we only get like less than 30 active fires a year in the district. Of course, we respond to our nearby districts as well as a mutual aid. But, we might get 60, 70, 80 calls a year. So it's doable. You can hold down a job and not be interrupted all night long with calls. So now if we were doing medical, I started out as an EMT firefighter. Oh man, you'd just run all night long. So providing water on fires with tenders, and tenders are the apparatus that kill the most firemen statistically. So they really don't want the young guys driving them. People don't really have enough experience driving them. We drive them every week. We drill on them regularly. And people drop them into, racing to a scene, will drop the wheels into a ditch on the shoulder there, overcorrect, and then it starts the death roll, and then, they roll the tender, and it's just bad. So they like more seasoned, older volunteers to be the ones driving the water tender. So again, it's perfect for us. Gives us a way to volunteer. It's great. So, yeah. So I'm using this Bic lighter. It has the it's kind of hard the little schnoz on it. And they say these things last 2 to 3 times as long as a regular Bic. So maybe all the mechanism is up here and this is all fluid capacity, whereas maybe the other ones stick down a little bit into the reservoir. I don't know. It's a good idea. It works well. So it's kind of my new go-to lighter. And they're in these bright colors, so you can find them when they fall out of your pocket. So I'm just hanging out on the boat, communing with the boat. It's great. Although I have not spent nearly as much time on it as I have in the past. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how next summer goes. Because I really like it, and it's such a great exploring tool. You explore the inside passage in the coast here in a way you can't do with a car or a motorcycle or even hiking. So it's pretty darn cool. It's a great boat, but maybe sometimes we age out of things, I guess. I would hate to think I'm doing that this soon, but well, we'll see. Anyway, it's good to be down here. Yeah, I mean, we'll all go through this process, whether we do it in a super accelerated way, like a car accident, boom, and then I've read accounts where people are, they remember floating above the car accident, no pain, no anxiety, they're just kind of up there floating, watching, and then somebody does CPR, damn it, they get boom right down into the body where there is pain and anxiety. So I've read more than one account about that. But my friend is going through kind of a protracted process because he's foundationally in such good health. My body's not gonna die. It won't. It's just refusing. So his will be a little extended, but we'll all go through it. It's what we do as human beings. So anyway, I'm curious about it. Curious about the whole process. Who better to learn from than somebody who's going through it themselves? That's what I say. Yeah. And I think it is true that people kind of, they're uncomfortable with the whole process, so they avoid visiting, It's kind of a toilet bowl cycle. I'm uncomfortable, so I visit less. And then when I do see him, it's even more uncomfortable, so I visit even less. Yeah. So I cut my finger on the glass, so I did a NW pipe smoker bandage, a paper towel, and some Scotch tape. Transparent tape. That's what I had. I'm sure there's some Band-Aids here somewhere, but I didn't want to search around for them. So I'm smoking some Presbyterian Mixture. That's always a nice, easy, enjoyable smoke. I don't know, it just always works. When I was with my dad the last month, he again, foundationally was like really solid. Low blood pressure, good pulse, blah, blah, blah. I mean, his heart was failing, but, so he was at home for a month, after my mom and he flew down to the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix, asking about a whole heart transplant. He was 72, and he just wasn't a good enough candidate for that. So they flew back in the little Learjet thing, the medevac. I met him at the airport. He went to the hospital over on the west side of Denver there, St. Anthony. He was there a couple days, and he said, get me out of here. Let me be at home in the living room overlooking the golf course where they lived. It was a nice place. So, sure enough. And I just stayed. I just stayed and kind of became one of his caregivers. And, went through that whole process. And I'd been interested in that before. But, yeah. I mean, when you're in that role, you're not laying your agenda and stuff on them. You're there to learn, and so it's all about them and what they're going through. So it's actually, it works out really well. But you can kind of talk yourself out of it. You're like, oh, this is going to be tough. But honestly, if you can kind of just keep focused on what you want to learn about it, it's one of those amazing experiences. So, and a pipe helps to decompress and be out on the back porch and just think about everything. It's a perfect meditative tool. So. Yeah, just a little guy, but it's a good smoker. And it fits, would probably just about fit under my ball cap. So, I like this. I'm not a big Red Sox fan, I'm kind of, I never got the sports gene, you know. I'm just sports neutral. I'll watch a football game or a basketball game if somebody else is watching it and is kind of excited about it. Then it's fun. It's like this group activity. But otherwise, I couldn't care less. So when my cousin said, "Hey, you want to go and watch some Red Sox games in Boston?" This was, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 years ago. I said, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So that was an adventure, good trip. And so I picked up one of these hats at the field, and it's a sized hat. So I like it because it's a 2XL, and it actually fits my head. I have a big head. I'm a big guy. So, but as far as, oop, see, there goes the fire pager. Medical, or BLS, basic life support call. Medic is advanced life support. So anyway, I wear this hat not because I'm a Red Sox fan, but because it just is a good fitting hat. I could no more recount a baseball stat of the Red Sox than speak Urdu. I no. So anyway, this will all work itself out as it always does, and you know, we'll have I'll get to give 3 cheers. I always like to do that for somebody who's been close to me, and you know, if we've done activities together. And it's giving 3 cheers is a great thing at a gathering. We'll probably have a memorial service, wake, whatever, at the firehouse. His daughter asked for that. And the fire commissioners seem amenable to that, so we'll certainly do that. But I like to give 3 cheers because it's just so, it just takes all that tension and puts it out there in a positive way. It's just, it's great. Yeah. We'll all walk that same road, even if it's in a different location. Yeah, sirree. But hey, life is good.